Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some fun, whether we have lost or we have won. For all things Miami, it's Dolphins Thursday.
Hey, Miami Dolphins, it's another Throwback Thursday here on Dolphins Thursday. You Miami Dolphin fans always rock. Love to have you. Thank you. So the Dolphins are a little bit in the news. Didn't read as much as I normally do this morning because the baseball game decided to go on forever this morning. So I was doing that instead of reading all about my Miami Dolphins. I was like, this game, I thought it was going to get to the point where it was still going on when I came on the air, but the Padres beat the Dodgers today in a high scoring affair. It was fun, but this is a football show, so let's talk Miami Dolphins football, guys. All good here in the South Florida hood. The Dolphins, as you all know, OBJ, Odell Beckham Jr., will be visiting the facilities at Miami Gardens today. Biggest question, of course, remains, do we want them? Do we not want them? From the Dolphins, from what I'm reading from the beat writers, Barry Jackson has been all over this story. He's been in contact with other veteran receivers who says the Dolphins have interest, but not at the price that the veterans want. So this could be the same thing with OBJ. Don't know if they will reach the money amount. If OBJ is willing to come in for not a huge contract, maybe, but they said the Dolphins are being very cap conscious as of right now. That's from Barry Jackson and just from what he's hearing on that front. So I don't know what your guys' take is on OBJ. He had a lot of good years. Last year he had an okay year last year with the Padres. Sorry, I'm reading something about the Padres. Really, just want to see if you guys are paying attention. With the Ravens, he had pretty good year. You know, not the big elite stats that he had in the past, but solid numbers. Played in 14 games, so you know you're on that end. I think it's really going to be financial. Dolphins could use a third receiver. He would definitely be an improvement over our current third receivers. But there's also a very deep draft. Dolphins could have an eye on the draft. We get to the draft in a little bit as my, excuse me, still battling that cough, feel 100%, just a little slight cough. So bear with me during those brief moments. Dolphins, Chris Greer and Mike McDaniel visited Texas yesterday for the Longhorns Pro Day. That made the news. There's a few guys on the Texas roster of note that the Dolphins could possibly have interest in. So, you know, we got that. We got the guys that we've already all brought in. The big news, though, that as I already talked about, there you go, Boston. 2 years, 8.5 mil, get her done. There you go. Hey, thank you for coming over from Twitter, also known as X. If you get a chance, run over to YouTube and nail that subscribe button. It's easy to do. It's quick. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube account. If not, doesn't matter. Thank you for commenting from Twitter. You rock over there as well. All you guys giving me a minute to talk Miami Dolphins football. I like the OBJ at the right price, and that would be the right price there mentioned in those comments. Something like that. You don't want to give in because, you know, some of these guys are signing those 1 year deal, 15 million. The Dolphins, I don't think, would go that high. It'd be not the wise expenditure of the money on that front of giving the big names. So we will see what OBJ wants. Doesn't hurt to have him in. Doesn't hurt him to come in because they will get, you know, his camp gets, oh, the Dolphins are interested in him, which will boost his money up if he's looking for money. So benefits both. We will see if they get it worked out today. He's going to be there. Not bad, you know, not bad. I'd like to say he's missed some time. As we know, he was in the Super Bowl and he got hurt. But overall, he's been This past year, he played in 14 games, started 6 of them. But then after that, he missed some time. But earlier in his career, he was pretty durable, but he has missed some time over the years. Last year, sorry guys, I'm just looking at the stats. I hate looking down when I'm trying to talk to you guys, but I don't have stat memory that good. Last year, he had 565 yards receiving. So there you go. And 3 touchdowns on 35 receptions. And he was targeted 64 times, it says on there. He only started 6 games, appeared in 14 games. So those are okay numbers, which is a step up from the years prior, because in 2021 he was at 537, but in 2020, he was injured though. Granted, he only had 319 yards. So we will see on that front where it goes. But could he contribute to a Dolphins team? Could he be a legitimate threat that someone has to worry with outside of Waddle and Hill? The answer is yes. Is he the Odell Beckham that got famous back in the days when he was with the Giants, putting up 1,300 yards, 1,400 yards, 1,400 yards? I'm looking at his stats. No, we're not going to have that Odell Beckham Jr. But can we have a veteran come in and help this Miami Dolphins team? Most certainly, for sure, you can get that. So we will see. Hey, Scotty, big fins up to you. Thank you for coming into the room as always. I appreciate it, Scotty. The only saving grace for me is with OBJ, he is average over 16 yards per catch. Yeah, he's still solid. Like I say, I think it's going to have to be at the right price, but he can help the Dolphins. So it's not say he can't help the Dolphins. I mean, without a doubt, he can help this Miami Dolphins team win some football games and be a legitimate threat. And I like that. And then combine him with adding John Smith to the weapons that we already have. Yes, concentrate on that line. Scotty, good things you're in the room. Guys, again, I got to look at my notes because my memory's not what it used to be. But yesterday, the Dolphins visited the Texas Longhorns Pro Day, as I mentioned, and they have receivers Mitchell and Worthy, and then they got tight end Sanders. Sorry, I just wrote last names, but most of you guys know if you're following. Running back Brooks, as well as defensive lineman Murphy the second, and Sweet, sorry, and that's it. My own handwriting. Sweat. I think he's Devondre Sweat, if I'm saying it right. But anyway, so I wonder which one of they, or do the Dolphins have eyes on all those guys? Are they all possible Dolphins picks, or do they really? We know the one guy's fast. Is that just like oh, we have to go look at this guy, or do we really think that the Dolphins have interest? They will go to other pro days, of course, too. Texas has it, but you got both Career and you know, McDaniel that were at that pro day. So obviously they got some interest in those guys. Hey, MDC, guys, make sure you check out his channel. I hope to get on one of his panels one day. Courtney represented us well, though, the other day on his channel. I was already pooped out by that time of night after we had rode on Courtney's show, and then she hopped right into that show. She's always going. She's great. Let's see. The only issue I see with an incentive contract, he knows his targets will be limited because of Hill and Waddle. If incentives are attached, I see him more help. Yeah, that's what I would say, Scotty, too, because he has to come here. He knows he's not the Odell of old. He knows if he's coming to Miami, he's not going to be over Hill. He's not going to be over Waddle as far as targets. So he has to have that mindset coming in, too, though, because if he has any diva left in him, we will see. And all receivers have a little. He's never been more. His dad does the speaking than he does the speaking. Some people think the dad speaks on his behalf, but we will see. That would be Dolphins Twitter blowing up the first game that like Tua misses him a couple of times or something. His dad would tweet out like, "Oh, my son needs a quarterback" or something like that, and Dolphins Twitter will literally explode. So expect that if that happens. But I think he would come here knowing he's not the alpha receiver in the room anymore, which I think he accepted him. And, in the Ravens, he was, just put up the whatever I said. Actually, that's why I don't have memory. 500 yards he had last year. So he knows coming here, he's not going to be the top dog. So we will see. Well, we signed OZ. I think the career some help for an edge at 21. Hey, that could be the. I know you were saying chop because you don't think Latu is going to be around. We will see. Why? Don't need him. Yes, Glenn. Do we need him? No. But could he help? He probably, I think he could help somewhat help the team because you got already two established guys. You bring him in if he's willing to play some in the slot, or he goes outside and let Hill be in the slot. I think your lineup becomes a little more because Hill has been talking about wanting to be in the slot more. I don't know if that's just talk or he really wants to be in the slot more. He's mentioned it a couple times. So it really opened the offense up to a lot of versatility where they can get a lot of things done and it could, make it better. But yes, I realize I'm not sitting here blowing smoke thing. This is the Odell that's making the one hand grab back in the day where he's putting up 1,400 yards receiving. We're not getting that OBJ, but I still think we could get an OBJ that could help this team. I would like, I would take Latu Chop first in that order if they are there. Yeah, all those guys, the first kid out of Florida State, Latu and Chop. Yep, there you go. All of them are solid. And McDaniel, loves his edge rushers. Greer likes some edge rushers. They got a first round pick. If one of those guys fall, maybe one of the three fall, who knows? Two of the three fall. If all three, they get their pick of the litter. Excuse me, guys. Hey, good morning, Adam. I am seriously thinking of going to the Panthers game tonight, Adam. I just haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I've been saying I want to see this hockey up close and personal. I am thinking about it. I am thinking about it. So that should be fun if I decide. I'll let you guys know if I go. Tomorrow I won't be here, guys. I'll be doing baseball on another channel at 10 a.m. tomorrow, but I'll be back Monday as always talking Miami Dolphins football. And by then, maybe we will know who has signed and who's not signed. But it'd be interesting to see if OBJ closes it up today or if he visits and they let him exit. I would say, well, he's going to go test the market. Some team would probably be more willing to give him the bigger bucks on that front. Because, like I said, let me go back to what Barry Jackson tweeted out this morning. He says, I expect McDaniel and Beckman to hit it off today. McDaniel relates to everyone, one of his many strengths. Creston will be money. Another prominent receiver, not Beckman, he has in parentheses, conveyed that Miami is still being cap conscientious and that ended the inquiry on him. Maybe compromise can be reached. So some veteran receiver reached out. We don't know who it was. Mike Williams ended up getting a huge contract, but did the Dolphins reach out to Mike Williams? We won't know. Barry didn't name names. He just said a veteran receiver. And Mike Williams got a lot for 1 year. So the Dolphins definitely don't want to be playing in that market. Is it Thomas? Who knows? I wish I knew. I wish Barry had squealed and told us the name of the veteran receiver that reached out to him. Instead, it was more of a money thing for the Dolphins. So that'd be interesting if that name ever came out. But if it's Mike Williams, I see because he got a lot of money. He got a lot of money there. So I can't see. The first 15 picks of the draft I see being offense heavy, hoping. I do see a lot of offensive tackles and some quarterbacks, of course, going. There's a lot of good receivers. So I think you might be right on that front, Scotty. But edge is always in demand too. So we will see. That's where I'm curious because edge is one of those very high sought after, positions, cornerstone position that can change your team around. So we will see. Oh yeah, they might be, Scotty. I agree. So, and then there's going to be a run on offensive tackles. So I believe there would be a run on offensive tackles too before Miami's pick. Because there's some offensive tackles. The Troy guy that you like, I hate saying last names when I can't pronounce the man's last name. Whatever. You know who I'm talking about. Um, if he's there, grab him to me because he's versatile. There's a few guys on the offensive line that I like. So, yeah, for sure, OTs will have a run. I mean, the OT offensive tackles are another position like a cornerstone that teams want because these men don't grow. They don't grow on trees. Guys that are big, strong, and can play NFL football. They're not easy to find. So I believe offensive tackle will be right up there. I know everyone's his favorite guy is the Jackson Powers kid out of Oregon. He's has some position first. He can play guard or center, but like Troy Fontenot, if he has to come in and play guard for a while until he can man when Armstead steps down, he has that. He can do guard, and so that's position flexibility also. So, and I think if you have a chance to take a guy that can eventually be your left tackle of the future, it would be kind of hard to pass that up. So I don't know. We will see. But edge is definitely needed too. The Dolphins still have a few things out there. The good thing about some of their free agency pickups is that they've kind of touched on everything. They haven't really, I mean, the defensive tackles they signed, most of them we don't know much about. I can go through all the names. I will go through all the names in a minute, but most of them are not household names. None of them are Christian Wilkins. None of them are even on the level of Zach Sealer. So let's get that straight. But we got Weaver as the defensive coordinator. He may be able to get more out of some of these defensive tackles. I know it's not a magic pill that a coach is just going to make all these guys play at Christian Wilkins level, but maybe he can get the most out of their ability and at least have them be very solid contributors, the guys that end up making the team, because we have a load of defensive guys we've signed looking for that one diamond in the rough, I guess. Everyone thinks it's easy to boast O line. Just throwing a party for signing Tyron Smith, who has missed more games than the last three. I know, and they're all gloating over there. They're all saying they all think the Jets are going to be the division winners. I can't pick on them too much because hey, heck, as Dolphin fans, we all know we've Let me get my other Dolphin jacket in there a little bit, but we all know that we like to boast during the off season too. But it's just funny that Jet fans are doing the brag that they're going to be division winners. Like, well, okay, if you want to say you're better than the Dolphins, the team that beat you twice last year, okay, whatever. Because it's not like Miami set the world on fire in December. If you think you've leapfrogged us because you got, but what also over Buffalo, who's owned the division, so they're just putting themselves on the pedestal of division champs already, which is fine. That's what fans do. But I do find it funny that they are bragging big time out there. So we will see, Jet fans. I've always said the Jets are like my least favorite of all the division teams. It's just how it is. I mean that's with all the domination that the Patriots had over the years, the current reigning AFC East champs, Buffalo Bills for the past 4 seasons. Still, the Jets are the team that just I don't know, just whatever. They've always been the team for a whole bunch of reasons that bug me the most, and they always will be. But hey, what can I say? It is what it is on that front. Sorry, guys, my phone went off. I lowered it though. But anyway, hey, good morning, G Man in the house. G Man in the house. I'm sure he doesn't want OBJ, so I won't even ask him if he wants OBJ because he's going to say he's washed up or something. I'm speaking for you, G Man. So, anyway, again, guys, thank you. It's Throwback Thursday, so I got to wear it. Got to wear that throwback hat. So, guys, as you know, these are the names that we've added over the. Well, I figured that, G Man. I figured that. So, anyway, here's the names we've added. If I forget anyone, I'm not counting the guys that we brought back, other than Benito Jones because he was kind of out and back. So he sneaks in my new additions list, not counting Nick Needham and those guys that we brought back into the fold. These are guys that are from another organization. So you got Kendall Fuller, who I think improves, or I think he can be just as good as the Xavier Howard that we've had over the past couple of years. I, I'm not saying prime Xavier Howard, over the Xavier Howard that we've had the past couple of years. I don't think it's a big step down with Kendall Fuller, and who knows, he could actually step up there and do better. So then now I'm going to go in reverse order from basically way up one of the first ones we signed. I just went to the latest. Now I'm going to one of the first ones we signed. John Smith, tied in, was on the Falcons last year, put up good numbers for the Falcons. He's pretty fast for the tight end position. And I think he could be another good target, another third option, fourth option, whatever option in the offense you want to put him at. He's a possibility that he can contribute in the receiving game. And obviously, he's going to have blocking assignments, and we will see how he grades out there, as far as that goes. But overall, I think he could be a legit receiving threat for our offense in 2024. Shaq Barrett came from Tampa. He had some great seasons a few seasons ago. Last year, at least, he played the season, but he ran into some health issues. He's not the prime guy. He's not going to get you the double-digit sacks that he's gotten in the past or anything like that. I'm not expecting a lot, but can he be the guy that comes in and be a good stopgap until let me see. I'm going to bring up his numbers real quick, because he did play last year. He started 16 games, so he all except for, I guess, he just missed one game that he didn't even appear in. He started all 16 games he appeared in, and he had 4.5 sacks. He had one breakout season back in 2019 when he had 19.5 sacks. That's a while back. We're not going to have a guy probably get 19.5 sacks for us this year. Well, if we do, it's not probably going to be Barrett. Then he had an 8-sack season and a 10-sack season and a 3-sack season, and last year's 4.5. So what are we going to get in Barrett? Who knows? But can he come in again? Can he come in and help? That's what I would say. I don't know if OBJ is really the distraction. His dad is a distraction. I know a lot of people are saying he's a distraction. I don't know. But from what I've heard, he's a pretty good teammate. So I don't know on that, G-Man. But yes, we definitely don't need a distraction. So if there's any hint that he might be a distraction, I don't think the Dolphins would go that way. But I think it's more like his dad's tweeting out crazy stuff. Anyway, now we're get to the offensive line. Really, the only offensive line outside of bringing back, the guy we brought back in Jones and re-signing Austin Jackson during the end of last season. But as far as bringing in new talent so far, basically Aaron Brewer is the name. We did bring in the guy that I didn't even know. No one even covered it, and the Miami Dolphins tweeted it out. So we do have that guy. I forgot to mention him. So we did bring in another guy. So let me go actually look him up a little bit before I even talk about him. We got Jordan Brooks, linebacker, Anthony Walker, linebacker, Jordan Poyer, another name, big name from the past, may not be up to the level that he used to be, but he still played decent last year, played in the games, stayed healthy for the most part, and he will be coming to South Florida. And he had been drafted by the Miami Marlins baseball team back in the day, way later round, but just to let you know, he is a multi-talented athlete back in the day. Cyran Neal, a special teamer, also last on the Buffalo Bills. So 2 guys back-to-back there from the Buffalo Bills. Jody Fortson, tight end, Kansas City. And then we get into the long list of defensive tackles that I said most of you probably don't know much about, because I'll be honest, I don't know much about them. Even though Benito Jones is on the list, I know a little bit about him because he had been on our Dolphins. But you got Neville Gallimore, Jonathan Harris, Isaiah Mack, and Devanian Nixon. I always mess up that, to go along with the Benito Jones. So we do have some people in there. So yeah, for the most part, we are running back our offense, other than some of the offensive line. But yeah, the skill positions, running back room, we haven't touched any of the running backs. I think this should be a clear indication, because every single year, every big name running back on the market, Dolphin fans want, but they obviously don't watch how Greer operates at the running back position and how McDaniel seems to operate at the running. They're not going to put a big priority on it, people. Now, if a guy falls to them in the draft and he's just sitting there, and not so much this year's draft because of how hard draft, but we got a chain in the a chan in the third round last year. He fell into our lap. Bingo, you take him. He contributes. Yes, he got hurt a couple times. Didn't play in all the games, but when he was healthy and on the field, he was an impact player for the Miami Dolphins. So that's why I never got into the signing these guys to like Derrick Henry to the big money. Just never saw it coming. And that's it. Yes, the D line has taken a big hit without a doubt. I mean, you lose Wilkins and Raycon Davis. I know Raycon Davis isn't the big loss. Everyone's more concerned about Wilkins. But Wilkins, for the money he signed, once it got to that point, you weren't going to sign him. There's no way the Dolphins were going to give him $27.5 million when you had so many other needs on the team. It is what it is, as I like to say. That ship had sailed. So overall, though, I like it. I really do. I like, for where they are at, I think they've done okay. I like being not, even though now some teams are starting to label us as some of the better moves, some publications or sites or whatever you call it nowadays. But no one's called us the outright winner of free agency, which I like. I don't want to be the winner of free agency, because how many times have you won free agency and won 0 playoff games? I say it all the time on here because it's the truth. So I don't care about, we didn't have to win. We didn't have to be the Raiders going signing all these big name guys, or Jacksonville, or Texans, man. Texans is going to be a team to be reckoned with. They had a good free agency, followed up by a surprisingly good year. They're able to spend that money. They got a young quarterback that won a playoff game. So they gave some good money out this free agency. So Texans are a formidable team in the AFC moving forward. Let's see what Scotty had to say. The big back from losing Wilkins, in my opinion, is the snap count he ate up. He carried only a couple of these because of it. He would need more rosters. Yes, he was very durable. I've said that numerous times on this show. He is very durable. Played the majority of the snaps almost throughout. It's just crazy the number of snaps. If he was a running back, they'd be saying, "Oh my God, they're burning his wheels off. He's going to be beat up," Or if he was a pitcher in baseball, that was great, and they gave him so many innings, they'd be saying, "Oh my God, they're throwing out his arm." But for Wilkins, defensive tackle, he played a lot of snaps. Very few very seldom rotated out. Just a phenomenal dude as far as just the durability and the endurance that he gave the Dolphins during his time here. So that will be missed for sure. That's for sure. I agree with that take, Scotty, on that's probably one of Wilkins' biggest assets. He was this always there, in a team that always have guys out, team that always have guys banged up. You could pencil in Wilkins, but you could ink his name in there. You knew he was going to be there to play. So that's where that's going to be missed for sure. Out of all these guys, hopefully you can find one or two guys. Like I say, it's going to be as good as Wilkins. No. But can you find a guy that can do the job? Can Weaver coach them up? Maybe so. We don't know. he doesn't have a big resume as a defensive coordinator. He had the 1 year in Texas, in with Houston Texans, and then that blew up. He didn't have the best defense, but that whole team was getting turned over, whole coaching staff. So that's not so much on him. That was just a lack of talent on that team. That whole thing blew up, and then he moved on. He's done a good job with the Ravens in his assignment. Got some of these defensive linemen putting up good numbers. So it's a possibility that he can get the most out of these defensive tackle type players. Hey, Jason, thank you for coming back. You've been in this room a lot. Thank you, sir. Crazy how people think OBJ is a distraction. The guy is an alpha, a winner, and him and Hill and Waddle will be ridiculous. We hope we get him. I don't get. Yeah, no, that's what I don't think. That's why I say I don't know where people say he's a distraction. Does his dad tweet out some crazy stuff sometimes and saying his son should get the ball more? Yes, the dad does, but he doesn't. From whatever I've seen, so that's to me, it's more of a money issue with me, Jason. Just because it seems like it's more of a money issue with the Dolphins. Because I don't know if you read what I said from Barry Jackson, but a veteran receiver said the Dolphins had interest in him, but they didn't want to reach the money that he ended up. The money point wasn't high enough. So the Dolphins could be looking in the bargain bin, hoping that OBJ would take a bargain contract. So that's the only thing I think would limit OBJ's from coming here. You see, good morning, Cliff. You ever come in here with no Courtney, you rock. You can find Courtney on Monday nights, guys. I like it, Cliff. Thank you for rolling in here. Yeah, I don't really remember OBJ's name in the press last year with Baltimore. Did I miss something? OJ Chinson and attention, horror and drama, clean pass. Hey, G man, that's what makes it fun. We all have different opinions, but I don't know. Maybe he is an attention person. I don't know. I'm not sure. But most of a lot of these receivers want the ball. I would say that much. And I would look it up. I know he's been in the news some, but overall, he seems to be like a good teammate. And hey, who knows? But anything that can possibly help the team, I would want. And like I say, if it's a money thing, then it may not be something that OBJ wants to come. If he wants the big money still, which I know a couple of years ago, he wanted that big money. And I think the Ravens paid him decent. If he's just ready now to play, maybe not for the big money, I don't know. We will see. And I don't know what considered big money is. What Mike Williams got. That was a lot of money he got for the 1 year contract for a guy that's injured a lot. So if he's looking for that kind of money, yeah, the Dolphins are probably not going to give him that kind of money. So it should be seen. That I agree with you. If we sign OBJ, he instantly becomes our third best receiver. That I love. Hey, man. Thank you, Jason. I love it, man. I just love talking Dolphins football, man. That's it. And I love talking baseball on my other show. But other than that, that's it, man. It's just fun, man. I do this for fun. And that's why I say I let people have their opinions. If some people want to say Chris Greer is the greatest GM to ever walk the earth, if some people say he should be fired, that's what makes these things fun, as long as we don't take insults at people. That's just how it goes. Yeah, no, he's still, I think he is still good. I really believe that it comes down to money. I don't think they're worried about his attitude. I don't think they wouldn't even have him in camp if they were worried about his attitude. I mean, yes, of course they're going to screen him. I think it comes down to the moolah, the money, the dinero. That's all it's going to come down to, whether the Dolphins are willing to match what he wants or whether he's willing to come down from what he wants. We don't even know what he wants. So it'd be interesting to see on what finances are being thrown out there. If he wants the Mike Williams, like I said, I'm going to keep on hitting that. If he wants a Mike Williams 1 year contract of over, like, what was it, 14 million, 30, some big number, I don't think the Dolphins are going to throw that at him. So, but if he comes in and with what they consider a cap friendly number, I can see it getting done. Let's see. You guys watch the highlight. Yep. Yeah, I did. He's still a solid receiver, man. It's all about the money. Most of these guys don't. A lot of them. You're right, Mike. A lot of them want the contract, and then if they can win on top of it, hey, they're happy. But yes, it's going to be about them. I mean, Hunt went to the Panthers and he got paid. He's going to be getting paid $20 million a year. You know what? More power to him. Appreciate your time here, but you definitely took the money because I'm sure some team that was in contention would have probably offered him decent money. But he went probably for the highest bidder, and you can't blame him. But yes, you're right. He's an example, of like someone that took the big money. So it's just what it is. How would you guys grade Routman? That would determine his. Oh, for sure, Scotty. That will, and I'd be interested to see where they plan to use him. Because I know Hill keeps on saying, yes, I know Hill. He's always in the news for something, but we're only going to talk about the positive stuff here today. Hill has kept on saying, get me another outside body receiver. I would love to go in. So are they looking for a guy that can play on the outside a lot and let Hill be, or is that just Hill being Hill talking on his own behalf? Or do they really think he'll move into the slot more, would be the guy that they want? Because he says he would love to be in the slot more because he doesn't think anyone can cover him in the slot. That's what he's been saying. So I don't know if that's his Hill talking or is that like the team's way of thinking. So it will be interesting on that end. Yeah, he's been on a few teams, sir. He's been on a few teams. I know the Giants, the Rams, the Browns, the Ravens. Off the top of my head, I'm not looking at his numbers anymore. So other people can fill in any other teams he's been on. But yeah, he's been on some teams. But he did help on that regard. Let's see. Just look at Xavier Howard's interview the other day. All of a sudden, he wants a ring now. He even said, I got my money now. I want a ring. Thanks for wanting a ring. Well, yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, to me, it's just, he's whatever. And of all guys that kind of throws shade, this man, the Dolphins always took care of Xavier Howard, always took care of him, reworked his contract, always gave him the money. Because you could complain about a lot of guys on the Dolphins. The Dolphins didn't take care of their guy and they let him walk. But with Xavier Howard, the Dolphins always took care of him. So he can run his mouth, say whatever he wants, and talks about how great other coaches are, this and that. Doesn't matter to me. I know the Dolphins took care of Xavier Howard. So if he wanted the ring in his prime, he didn't have to take the money when the Dolphins were still struggling most of the years he was here. He could have simply just tested free agency because no one made him re-sign with the Dolphins. He took it because the Dolphins paid him big money. So to me, yeah, he comes off as sour grapes on that take. Hey, DG, George in the house, guys. Check out his entertainment. He's GG live on here or Dolphin Gang Entertainment, DGE. Just go find him, guys. He produces great videos all the time. He's been on my show before. He's been on the Fins Talk Sports Network before. He has his own shows, puts out great videos, and breaks down all kinds of stuff. Always good to have him in here. X deserves to get a ring. Well, I don't know about that. Hey, I find him more of the Dolphin players deserve to get a ring. I don't know. He's going to go to a team that, yeah, is probably in contention. I know he's thinking of Houston because that's where he's from. So we will see. But the simple fact of the matter is the Dolphins always took care of Xavier Howard. Always. Like I say, there's a lot of guys you could say, oh, the Dolphins didn't take care of and they let walk. They don't take care of their own, but they took care of Xavier Howard always. They reworked his contract a couple times. He always got the money, always got the bag. So I'm not worrying about them not taking care of him. I get it. Guys should get what they can, but the game is so much different now. And for the love of the game is a thing of the, hey, it is, especially in the free agency period and hitting football, they're going to go for the dollars. And like I say, it's hard for me to blame them, but I get it because we as fans, it's like, oh, stay loyal to your team. We want you here. But I get the human reaction as you see that those greenbacks, you see the almighty dollar, and you want to go and get that almighty dollar. And I understand it, but it stinks from the fan perspective of trying to build your team and wanting to win a championship while they're wearing your laundry, your team's favorite laundry, not go say, oh, now, like, just players that go and get a ring somewhere else. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, he went and got his ring, but it wasn't with my team that he gave all that to. So I get it. Uh, I think X to Colts or Card. Well, if he goes for the Cardinals, he's definitely not ring chasing. So I don't know. I don't know. Let's see. I saw Mark, the Bills fan, come in here. I'm not ignoring you, Mark. I just saw a whole bunch of other. Howard and Tariqa previously of the Dolphins. Wonder why they have done nothing. If Finn fans can't see them. Well, your guy, your receivers having his own issues, it seems like. So I don't know, Mark. And I know you did not end up getting the Armstead guy you were hoping either. So it's not like the Bills are all 100% in football heaven right now. I can see the Bills falling back a little bit in the AFC picture. The AFC is going to be, that's the AFC East. I'm talking about the whole AFC is going to be a tough conference to maneuver through this coming year. So we should see, hey, if Xavier Howard goes to the Bills, at least you could say at least he maybe going to a team. I don't know if he still wants money, if he doesn't want the money, he really says he's played for the money now and he just wants to go somewhere. Who knows? It just is what it is. I don't get it. I really don't get Xavier Howard. Like I say, Cliff, I know Courtney's a big Xavier Howard fan, but I know she doesn't watch at this time of day, so I can pick on Xavier Howard. And I know the Dolphins took care of him over the years, and he, it is what it is. What can I say? No, 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 don't talk it up, Mike. Nothing new. No Tyreek bad news today. Nothing bad. So as long as he stays out of trouble and he doesn't get suspended before the year, it won't be like a victory at this point. I just hope he stays out of trouble. And some of it's just silly stuff, but it always just seems to find him somehow. I don't get it. And some of it's serious, like when there's any allegations of domestic or stuff like that, but like sitting in a person's seat and not making the news. I mean, that's just like silly stuff. So, and he left, so some of it's just bad luck on that front. Yeah. Hey, Franklin Stubbs and Jay, welcome to the house. Whatever happened to LT Beckham? I know, not injuries, man. Injuries just hurt him, man. Yeah, he wants to be better off signing until June 1st when more money clears up across the NFL. Yeah, no, for sure, Scotty. If he doesn't though, if like the whoever said that he's chasing a ring down, then then go with wherever. But if he wants some, but of course, money and a ring together are a lot better. Diggs, the diva who wears thin on the team, is why his replacement is projected to be drafted early in the draft, and he will be gone next year. We will see on that front, but he's a big part of your team, I know. So that's it. All I know is that Bills fans can talk over us as far as beating us in this regular season, but as far as super playoff success, yes, they have a couple wins, but I'm surprised Bill fans are set happy with where they are at. See, to me, like right now, I just say I want the Dolphins to win a playoff game. But once they get that playoff game, and then that wears off, then I'm saying, okay, now I want to get to the Super Bowl, because eventually then you want to take that next step, and the Bills hasn't taken that next step yet. So I'm sure a lot of Bill fans are upset about that. Michael K would never admit it because he'd rather just pick on my Dolphins and saying he's worried about the Bills, but that's okay. I don't know how Mark rolls if he will admit he wants more out of the Bills. Let's see, what did Jay say? Yeah, I'm not sure either. I could look him up in a little while, or one of you guys can look them up. But yeah, he's another guy that has dealt with the injury bug. A guy that has done well when healthy. But that's it. That's like a key term in Dolphins land, when healthy. I don't get it. Let's see. What does McNeil to improve on most coming into this upcoming season? Good question. G Man's answer is team discipline. And yes, there is some of that. Clock management probably falls under there. I thought he had overall got better at the clock management, but towards the end of the season, it started looking like we were getting plays in there on the last second again. We got to clean up that process and streamline it better so we have more time to get to the line and look at the line. Tua would have a better chance and seize on that. But, it is what it is. I would like to work on his confidence in whatever O line we put out there. That way, he won't leave the run game as fast. So that's true. Hopefully, we do improve that offensive line. That's why I say I still think offensive line is a top position or edge going into the first round of the draft. To me, I'd be shocked if it's not an offensive lineman or an edge guy. So I say shocked, maybe surprised, because I know a lot of if we sign OBJ, then I think receivers off the board at number one. I think we would all tend to agree on that. But if we don't sign OBJ, could they still draft a receiver at one and we'd be like, oh my goodness? Yes, and that could just be an eye on the future too, because Hill's getting towards the end of what he says he's going to play. Whether that's true or not, and he continues to play, will be seen. And then, you don't know if we're going to be able to keep Waddle unless you can negotiate now and get Waddle on the books for a longer term. So, with an eye on the future, it could be receiver, trying to keep ahead of the game. So, nothing would surprise me, but it would kind of surprise me. I mean, nothing would shock me, but receiver would kind of surprise me. I'm thinking edge or offensive line at 21. Darcy Bills had to move off some long-term contributors due to aging and salary cap. Am I happy with the team? Yes and no. Our hurdle is beating Kansas City in the playoffs, and that I want to beat them. That is, I know that stuff. Nobody is. Well, right now, gee, man, I guess you could say that nobody is beating Mahomes, but he hasn't won the Super Bowl every single year, so there is a chance that you can beat him. But he's won the last two, so you're kind of right on that right now, and they're hard to argue. G-Man, Ender, welcome to the show, and he's giving you guys all a good morning. So thank you for coming in here. Well, Scotty had said he's suspecting maybe an edge rusher at 21, but I know he's mentioned offensive line in the past. That's how I feel. To me, I think an offensive lineman or edge at 21 if they stay and stand pat and don't trade down. So that's what I would see on that front. That's what I think. Who knows? But like I say, you never know. They could take the cornerback again, and they'd be all like, "What the?" Because you never know when it comes draft night how the board's going to fall. Some guys fall to them that they love, that they have ranked way up there. You never know. But to me, the most reasonable thing as we sit here on March 21st, 2024, just a little over a month away from the draft, I would say edge or offensive lineman. So that's where I would say. If we go on, it would be in the second. At my point, my favorite is BB. Yeah, I know he's really good. Some people say he's not the best fit for the Dolphins because he's more of a great road grader type and whatever. But I believe he's just a big physical guy that can help you in that spot. So that's what I've read when someone was saying that he's a great guy, great player, but he doesn't know if he's a fit for the Dolphins scheme as far as the zone because he's not the quickest of feet, they said. That's just, of course, one guy I was reading, and I forget who it was, but a well-known draft person. Let's see. I feel the Dolphins don't have patience to stick with a long-term plan and want immediate satisfaction, and it causes. Well, that could be right, Mark. I mean, it has been 20-something years since the Dolphins won a playoff game, so there's a lot of impatience at this point among the fan base, among the people on the team that know that their jobs may depend on it, and I get that part. So we will see. Yeah, Latu is definitely a guy, but I see him more and more going earlier. Like I say, mock drafts are just that. They make a mockery of the real NFL draft because very seldom are people nailing all their mock draft picks right. But I love mock drafts too. But you do see the two going higher and higher in a lot of these mock drafts. So I love Scotty. That basically backs up what you say. People like it when they see him. So he is going, and as we all know, the Dolphins, you can never have enough edge. And we got two questionable guys coming back from injuries. They might be back sooner than expected, but are they going to be back at the level that we expect them to be at 100% going out there? So, that's the hardest part to know. Caffrey Brian Thomas, Florida slot receiver. Caffrey Brian Thomas. That's a name I've seen some connect. Man, so many people are nailing us with receivers. Great point, G man. My belief is that they are doomed, and both he and Greer are gone. What did G man say now? What are you doing? Oh, I see what he says. This team hates big physical kind. They like small midgets, small little people. G man, and McDaniel is too. Well, like I say, we will see, guys. We will see. I do believe they've gotten a little more physical this year in some of their off-season signings because Aaron Brewer is known to be pretty tough. I know he's smaller, so some people would say that, but he's good. Maybe not so much tough, but he's a good fit for his zone. But Aaron Brooks and Anthony Walker on the defensive side are known to be tough, gritty, tough football players at the linebacker position. So I believe we may have got a little more physical in that aspect because if you watch Brooks, he goes up there and really is a force in the running game, but also has good coverage skills. So I do believe they're getting a little more physical in the linebacker core. Do you want, of course, we want to be physical in the trenches, though. I get it. You want the defensive line and the offensive line to dictate the terms of play on for your team. You want your offensive line dictating the terms of play, and you want your defensive line dictating the terms of play when they're on the field. I get it. We all get it, and we just got to get there. And like I said, Zach Sealer's a baller. He's a dog, as some people like to call it. Whatever term you want to use, he's good, and he can get the job done. Now we need some other guys to help him out, and that we lost Wilkins. So we're going to see. But I do believe that they're trying. They're making an attempt. They did get tougher in the linebacker core. So that's a start. You got to start somewhere. And I believe that's a start where we're getting a little more physical. Yeah, I know he's smaller, but he's a good fit for what we need. Yeah. We have wrong people running the organization. Nothing but change. Well, G-Man, we've had wrong people running the organization forever. What can I say then? We haven't won a playoff game since December 30th, 2000. So, and that spans Wayne Huizenga owned the team, to Ross owning the team, to different coaches, to different general managers. What can I say? It's been brutal. We haven't been in a Super Bowl since the Robbie family owned the team. So, I mean, what more can I say? We haven't been in the Super Bowl since the Robbie family owned the team. All 5 Dolphins Super Bowl appearances have been with the Robbie family owning the team. So, you know, whatever it is, I don't know. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just tough to say why we haven't put together a playoff winning team in that long because we've had multiple people at the helm. So it's not like one guy that we just stuck for 2 decades. It's just, Chris Greer has been with the Dolphins since the last year. The last year we won a playoff game is when Chris Crow got hired by the Dolphins. Yes, I'm not saying he was in power that long, just saying he has been with the organization since 2000. And that's the last year we won a playoff game. So his very first year here, he got hired before the 2000 season. And, you know, they won a playoff game that year. And then since then, the goose egg since he's been in the organization. But is that all on Chris Greer? Of course not, because he was just working his way up the ranks of the Dolphins organization. So who knows? But it's just been way too long, way too many people to blame. And it's who knows? Some people want to say South Florida, but you can't say that because the Heat still win down here in South Florida and they have the party lifestyle. Granted, I'm not a basketball guy, so I can't tell you much about it, but they still win. And the Marlins won a couple of championships back in it. And I mean, that's why I say it's BS because the 80s, Miami was the crazy city of it was like cocaine cowboy days and all of that. And party lifestyle was rampant, and the Dolphins still won in the 80s. Yes, they didn't win the Super Bowl, but they won. So I don't believe the South Florida. For that, we might as well just give up. We're never going to win. But someone was in on my show the other night on the Fins Talk Sports Network saying the Dolphins would never win as long as they're in South Florida. Well, they're going to be down here forever. They're not going anywhere. So I guess we'll never win if that's the theory. I don't believe in that theory at all because all these big cities have things to do and whatever. The only thing we have is great weather year round. That's the only difference. But you can't tell me there's not great nightlife in all the New York up and all those areas. And especially if Vegas ever wins, then that theory's put to rest forever. If the Vegas Raiders ever win anything, that theory, because Vegas is a party capital of the United States of America. So we will see. Um, we're almost at the end of the show here. Franklin Stubbs, thank you. Trying is better than doing nothing. If we go O-line, the first, I think it would be an offensive tackle that can play guard. Yes, Scotty, basically, but yes, that's why I was saying that Troy guy. I hate saying the last name, Fontanu, but you know who I'm talking about. He would be a great plug in and play, but I don't see him falling to the Dolphins at that spot because he'd be a guard this year. And then with Isaiah Wynn coming back into the fold, I just don't, it is what it is. Who else? Who is the guy? Yeah, Drac Driscoll. That's a guy I meant to mention. He had been on the Eagles. He didn't even get announced signing anywhere. He's never really been a starter, but he played last year. He started some and as a fill-in. Sorry, that's the guy. I knew I forgot someone's name on my list here because I didn't even see it until the Miami Dolphins actually announced the signing. I'm like, whoa, the media missed this one. Or he's just not a big enough name that the media even cared about. But the Dolphins actually announced that signing. Uh, well, Connor, yes, now with the injury, I get what you're saying, Scotty, but he was playing well. Yes, he had some snapping issues, but post snap, he was one of the highest rating centers in the game, very consistent. And you could see our line play deteriorated after he left. We weren't as the whole team. I know I'm not just blaming the whole team's one guy leaving because we lost a lot of other people soon after that. But the simple fact of the matter is he was a key part of it. So I understand why they want him back. But now they got Bruger. I believe that's their center this year. Who even knows if Connor comes back to football? I'm not going to be saying I'm not talking for him, but a significant injury. And I think he comes back, but I don't think he's in a rush. If you listen to Drew Rosenhaus, he's saying that he's not in any rush to come back and sign a contract. So it's going to be later than sooner. It's going to be much later. Yeah, definitely Driscoll's replacing Lamb. That's it because he can play tackle and stuff for sure, and he can play guard. So that's my line of thinking too. When we all wanted Lamb back, not we all, but I know a lot of us wanted Lamb back because he filled in when he came in and he played well enough. And to me, that's like, as a Dolphin fan, oh, we found a guy that played well enough that just wasn't good, being an open gate when, when Armstead was out. So we just thought Lamb was the guy, all wanted him. But this guy, like I say, he's going to come in and he's probably going to fill that role. It's just surprised me because the Dolphins announced it and not the press. There was no reports like, oh, this guy's in today, or, the Dolphins are thinking of this. It was just boom, Dolphins announced a signing. Hey, they broke the news. The Miami Dolphins broke that news. One in the 70s, hopefully wasn't what it is now back then. Today's players can't resist the temptation to party. Well, like I say, other teams in this area, the Heat have won. And yes, you only have to put a few guys on the court as opposed to putting a whole football team together, but they still won. And the Marlins won some, and the Dolphins won. I mean, went to the Super Bowl in the 80s when it was crazy. So, I mean, you're still good enough to get to the Super Bowl. You're a damn good team. So, I don't know. It's just, who knows, man. And to me, that theory is just kind of crazy because there's things you do all over. And if the Raiders ever win that, then I don't care what anyone says, that theory gets thrown out the window. But the Raiders haven't won yet. But, you know, the Rams won the Super Bowl. If there's not crazy things to do in Los Angeles, I mean, I don't know. To me, that theory just is kind of silly, G man. But I see it mentioned all the time that they can't win because of the South Florida lifestyle. But believe me, I live down here, but I don't have the budget they have. So they have a lot more fun with their budget. But hey, it is what it is. Yeah, basically, in the early 80s, that's how we got to the Super Bowl. Yes, I know, because people would be, hey, lazy partiers in South Florida. No, rich guys are going to party anywhere, though, man. Rich guys are going to party anywhere. I just think, like I say, if it's in South Florida and that's the reason we're never going to win, you might as well all just give it up now, G man, and say, okay, the Dolphins play in South Florida. It's too much fun here. We're never going to win. But like I say, Los Angeles Rams won. I've never been to Los Angeles, but that's a huge ass city in Southern California. So I'm sure there's plenty of opportunities to be crazy and wild there too. And they won a Super Bowl with OBJ on the team, to be exact. So I don't believe that. And if so, like I say, then I don't know. We might as well just give it all up now, guys. Let's just call it and go root for another team because Dolphins would never win. But I get it. I understand. It's just frustration, man. It's just stuff. Oh, Timothy Washington sneaking into the house. Sorry, Timothy. I always give you a big hello. You're one of the regulars. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. Do we pick up Justin Simmons and have three game changing safeties? That would be good. I don't know. Again, from what I've reading, Dolphins are very cap conscious. Can you bring in some of these guys at cap friendly numbers that you walk away after 1 year? Then the answer is I think any of them are on the table. If they're looking for a bigger payday, then I don't think they're on the table. That's how I look at it because I think they would look at anyone that can help the football team. But at this point, it has to be on the Dolphins' terms, money wise. And if the players are willing to come here and take a shot at a 1 year grab to maybe get into the playoffs and win, then they will come. But if they want the money or they want a really chance to go somewhere and get the Super Bowl, then, we may be taking a back seat on some of those players. Let's see. I don't think they're ever going to win. South Florida has a lot to do, plus warm weather makes players soft. The team can't play in the cold. The playoffs. I don't know. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers won a Super Bowl. Yes, they had Tom Brady. Yes, it was a COVID year, but they won the Super Bowl not that long ago. The Rams won the Super Bowl. So I don't know if really environment has much to do with it. It's just I agree with G man, as far as something's been wrong for 2 decades and us not getting the job done. Does South Florida play anything into it? We will. I don't know. I don't know. For all I know, if the Vegas ever goes and win, that's what I'm saying. That'd be my landmark to say. Then this theory can be thrown out the window. But Like Tampa won recently. The Rams have won recently. And, it is what it is. So I don't know. I don't know. Tampa's pretty wild too, man. They got some well-known clubs down there. So we will see. And it's still warm weather year round in Tampa. So believe me, I live down here, but in I'm not far from the stadium. So, but I'm in Broward County. I'm in the suburbs of Pembroke Pines, Florida. But still, I'm minutes from the stadium if I go. Let's see. Tua is fool's gold. In my opinion, we definitely improved our secondary. That's from Timothy Washington. Yeah, we have, man. Like I said, I think we have too, man. But we subtracted from the defensive line. So, I'm in the wait and see mode. It's not going to be all doom and gloom, and it's not going to be all rainbows and ice cream or whatever the saying is. You get my point. It's not going to be all Wonderland talk from me, and it's not going to be all doom and gloom land for me either. I'm in the wait and see mode. Let's see. We're only March 21st, man. We haven't even got to the draft. Haven't even got to the second wave of free agency where guys get cut. There's a long way to go before this roster's known on the front on where we're going to be. So it's a long way to go. And that goes for a lot of teams. And you got to take in injuries are going to happen to teams. So we will see, man. Let's just see where our Dolphins stand. Hopefully they end the drought of not winning a playoff game at the end of the 2024 season, or you probably will see this whole thing blown up again, or everyone be on the very hottest of the hottest of the hottest seats going into the 2026 season or the 2025 season. Yeah, I wouldn't even give them the 2026. So they'd be on the hottest of hot, but they may be gone if they don't win a playoff game. And if they don't get to the playoffs and have a bad collapse, then I think everyone's gone. Yeah. Brooks and Walker, big physical linebackers. Yes, they are, Jay. That's why I agree with Scotty there too. I touched on the linebackers, and you guys touched on the secondary. I agree too. I believe we've improved in there. The defensive line, we're going to have to count on Weaver coaching some of these guys up. Maybe draft a guy. Who knows? A veteran may get cut because June 1st, things change. And not even just that, because you can cut those guys post June 1st already, but just a lot of times guys get cut after the draft because their team drafts a younger, cheaper version of their position, and the guy gets cut and waived. So there's all kinds of still ways to improve your team moving forward. Again, I'm not expecting anyone that matched Kristen Wilkins' production last year at the defensive line position. I'm not. I'm a realist. It's going to be hard to get that production from a guy this year at that spot. But can you get a guy to fill in and do a solid job and then let the improved linebacker play and secondary play step up and help the team? That's a possibility. So we will see. Anyway, guys, I ran over my time. I appreciate you guys being here. If you haven't done so already, please nail that like button. It helps and it's free, and it just tells this super slick algorithm of the YouTube that, hey, this Dolphin Thirsty guy, he likes talking about the Miami Dolphins. And I like Miami Dolphins, so I gave it a thumbs up. Or even Mark, the Buffalo Bills fan, just because you give it a thumbs up here doesn't mean you like the Miami Dolphins. It just means you're helping out a fellow football fan. And guys, if you are on Twitter or Facebook and you want to check out my YouTube channel, bump that up. Guys, on Facebook, I got a lot of love there over there today. I'm seeing likes and hearts. Big thumbs up to all you Facebook people over there. If you're watching on Twitter, roll into YouTube just to nail that subscribe and thumbs up button. It helps the channel grow and vast out in all the different regions. So thank you so much, man. Hey, New Finian, better late than never, my fellow Dolphin fan. But you're up north of the border, but you're still a huge Miami Dolphin fan. You and Evan will be doing a show one day together, I'm sure. The two Canadians that love the Miami Dolphins. And there's probably a lot of you guys out there, but those are two that I know are from Canada. So always good to see you guys roll in. Anyway, guys, big fins up, thumbs up. Have a great throwback Thursday, Miami Dolphins style. There you go, G-Man. There's the logo you like. It's all good. Later, guys.
Dolphins thirsty, they never show no mercy. On the field or in the game, Miami knows how to play. Dolphins thirsty, we all get down and dirty. Tell you what you wanna know, it's the Dolphins Show. Quench your thirst for all things Miami Dolphins. They are the football kings, cause they play to win. Come on in and have some